Right. You've had a bit of a break, Michael. How's that been? How have you spent it? How have you spent it with the team?
Yeah, it's been good actually. We boys had a couple of days off over the weekend, and it's actually probably a good time to take a bit of a rest and a deep breath and freshen up a little bit, minds and bodies, and come back really well actually. Trained really well since we come back. There's a bit of a spark and a freshness about them, which is good. Squad stronger and boys coming back in and around it. So yeah, the boys are in a good place.
You've lost a couple of strikers in Kavanagh and obviously Morgan Rogers as well. How does that affect you going forward? You haven't brought anyone in to replace them, so what does that mean for the team?
Finn was obviously brought in, so that made us stronger going into that. And in effect, Morgan is a like in many ways is a like for like. So Cav obviously being a younger player, it's some younger players come through and are able to kind of get through into the first team and have the career, and other times it's about making a career somewhere else. So we certainly wish Cav all the best from everyone at the club. It was nice to get for me personally to get him on the pitch and for him to have that experience, and now he's gone on to develop in something new. And Morgan, it was one of them. Everything's you take it as a one-off situation, and every transfer is different. It was one of those that it kind of fit for everyone in the end, really, and so it is what it is. Mixed feelings in a way, because we were looking forward to kind of potential and developing Morgan, but at the same time realistic to understand the situation for what it was. So, but in terms of the squad, we're strong. We got good options. We got boys coming back fit, and we're looking forward to the games coming up.
Sounds like you would have liked to have kept Rogers, but for the club, just good business, right? He came for $1 million and he's gone for a lot more. Yeah,
of course, and you've got to be realistic for sure, and for Morgan as well. He's a Birmingham lad, and I'm not sure exactly where they are, second, third, fourth in the Premier League. It's a massive opportunity for him, and we understand that. I'm not saying that'll happen with everyone, and it's not a policy of the club by any stretch, but I think you've got to take everything on an individual basis, and that certainly was kind of right in the end for everyone, even though we would love to have kept him and worked with him and seeing how good he could become. But sometimes that's football, we move on just as Morgan will, but certainly again we wish him all the very best. I hope he fulfills all the potential that he's got.
Into a derby on Sunday. What have you made of Sunderland since Michael Beale came in?
Yeah, we obviously know they've got good players. It's talented, a lot of younger players. It's a hugely talented team, and you can see he's come in and tweaked a couple of things and changed a couple of things as you'd expect. But watch a number of games now. It was a big result for them last week, and they played really well. So yeah, we know what we're up against for sure. So it'll be a big test.
And I know you think every game's important. Next one's the most important. But with the position these two clubs are in, and with both looking to get promoted, this feels particularly key.
Yeah, in some ways, of course, it's there's an importance to it, without doubt. Key in terms of setting us up for the next little bit, give us a chance of getting 3 points. Yeah, of course, end up taking, if we can take 3 points off them, just as they'll be looking to do the same with us. So there is that, will it in the end tell the whole story of the season? No, it's not going to be a make or break game in terms of the rest of the season, but it'll definitely give us a boost, and if we can put the right performance in and get the right result.
Thank you. So it's your first T3 at Riverside. How much are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, really looking forward to it. I obviously expect a terrific atmosphere. I think I look back to the support we had at Chelsea not so long ago. It feels a while ago already, but it wasn't that long ago. But the support was incredible, and the reaction they give us at the end of the game after a defeat like that was pretty special, and to bring that atmosphere and that level of support and noise, and for us to give them a little bit more to shout about would be the ideal scenario.
Obviously, it was massively disappointing against Chelsea, but kind of how much is that will spur you on sort of at the weekend and kind of the first game back afterwards?
Honestly, we've kind of forgotten about it, really. I think the boys have moved on tremendously well from it. Made the most of the experience, ups and downs, of course, and it didn't end the way we wanted, but it was the boys done tremendously well to put themselves in that position, and we just a little bit just fell short in the end. So that's how it is. But as I said, training, the boys went away and cleared their heads, freshened up the bodies. They've come back really sharp and focused on looking forward really, and excited by the potential that we've got in the group.
Obviously, it was 4-0 against Sunderland last time round. Do you reckon that will have an impact on both teams on Sunday?
No, I don't think. I think these games tend to be one-offs. I think they tend to be. There's not much you can rely on going into the game, which will give you the storyline of what's going to happen. It's all about what happens, who gets up out of bed early enough and prepares well enough for the early kickoff. So we won't be looking too much into what's happened in the past. It's all about Sunday.
Just to kind of touch on the Edwards transfer deadline day yesterday, how do you kind of feel about the squad now that you'll kind of be working with the rest of the season?
Yeah, I think we've got a really good, strong squad. I think we're balanced pretty well with the additions that we brought in. I think that was important for us, and covered in pretty much every position. Yeah, of course we want the boys back who are carrying niggles and injuries at the moment. We do that, then we'll be even stronger. But as it stands, I think I felt that in training over the last week that the squad's is definitely getting stronger in a good place. So good mix of experience and seniority, as well as youth and talent, if you like, potential talent. So yeah, happy. See what we can do.
How's Manu?
He's a little bit away, yeah.
Yeah. On that, kind of in general, how is it long term? We're looking at months, or are you expecting?
No, just a few weeks. Yeah, a few weeks. Will be weeks rather than days. Yeah.
And Josh, it's an ongoing situation, but how's he doing? Is this break specifically done him good?
Yeah, I hope so. He's trained. He's trained. We had to manage him quite a bit over recent weeks, maybe even leading into months. So that's part of the responsibility of us getting that right, really. So and trying to kind of manage it and make the best of what he can do at the moment. So, but yeah, he's fine.
Obviously, without those, or with only Josh available, there was a lot of attention on whether you bring centre forward in the final days of the window. Do you feel like you've got enough goals in the squad? Because those behind, Marcus, Isaiah, Riley, Sam, they've all chipped in this season, haven't they, with more than a fair few? Yeah,
for sure. I think when you look at it, we've got obviously Riley and Sammy away at the moment. Manu's, not massively far away. So I've said to you before about buying players for the sake of a few weeks is not always the answer. And for us, bringing players into the groups, it's vital. They've got to be, it's got to improve you. They've got to be the right ones for different reasons. So it's not a case of just bringing someone in just to a bit of a stopgap or for filling a slot. They have to really improve us, and there has to be a really good reason for that. And so we feel that the players that we have brought in, we're happy with, really happy with, and for good reason they're here, and we've seen that already. But certainly in forward areas, we're flexible. Boys can play across the forward line. We can mix it up a little bit in terms of positioning, which is good for us, and we certainly feel like there's enough goals throughout the team to make the difference.
How's Izzy?
Izzy's a little bit further off. He's a few weeks in.
And Senny, I know I'm not going to go through everyone, but Senny we haven't spoken about in a while. What's his situation now?
Senny's close, yeah. He's kind of just getting back to training. So funny in a way, he was due to go away anyway, and then he ended up getting injured. So he's we probably wouldn't have had him anyway, but he's getting back to training. So kind of ease him back in some ways and make sure that he's ready and trains enough to be ready to play.
Does this feel like you've had this break? You talked there about the spark you've seen in training the last few days. There's clarity in the squad now the window's closed. Does this feel like almost like a fresh start for the final stretch?
Yeah, I think the season goes like that. I think there's chapters really, and almost little windows through the season, if you like, and sometimes it's geared with international weeks or leading up to a certain period, and now for sure once that the windows close in January, it's that when the cup competitions for us are done, then it's kind of really laser focus on what's ahead. We've got the squad, we're happy with it. Boys are coming back fit and in a good place, so it is the next important chapter for us to get right.
Brilliant, thank you.
Since we last spoke to you, right over the gap, obviously Luke Thomas came into the club as the third signing, and just speak a little about him and why you wanted to bring him to the club.
Yeah, of course. we're delighted to have Luke. I think he brings for a younger player, he brings an awful lot of experience at top level, really. And when the opportunity came for us, it was an important one that we made the most of. You know, Alex being out for a good number of weeks, and it was important that we had cover and we had balance within the group. And he brings an awful lot of quality. So yeah, we're delighted to have him as with us for the rest of the season.
Yeah, on Alex, is that, you see a good number of weeks, is that looking like it's going to be towards the back end of the season?
Probably, yeah. It'd be another, hopefully not, but yeah, probably another 8 weeks or so, possibly.
Yeah. One player we spoke about towards the start of the month who, there were considerations about whether or not he might leave on loan was Alex Gilbert. You've presumably decided to keep him for the rest of the season. Are you hoping he can push on from here and start to, maybe challenge more for places in the team? Yeah,
without doubt. That's as a younger player, that's the challenge, of bridging that gap and making the jump, really. And a lot of that becomes from training and the performances down in training, and a little bit is timing and getting the opportunity and something opening up for you. So that's that kind of bracket in your career, really, is taking the next step. That's certainly the challenge for Alex, yeah. And obviously we're here to help him develop and try and create that opportunity for him. So it's a two-way thing.
Yeah, obviously when he joined in the summer from Brentford, he'd been part of their B team, and he made the point that he came here because he wanted to make that step up, he wanted to make that jump. And when he hasn't quite managed that yet in as many games as he would have presumably liked, how are you managing that on a day-to-day basis with him? How much are you talking to him and you're explaining things to him?
Yeah, of course we manage it. I think there's of course I've talked to all the players, and I like to think I've got a relationship with all the players at certain times. There's only so much talking you can do as well. For me, I think a lot of it comes from performances as well, and as I said, training well, learning, developing, improving, and then gaps or chances in the team at the right time. So we work with the players, we feel quite closely in that, and at the right times to try and make help them get the best out of them.
Just finally for me on the game, you mentioned there the fact it's an early kick-off. Does that dramatically change kind of the way you might have to prepare for a game when it is earlier than normal?
I think you've got to adapt, yeah, in terms of making a big deal of it. It's not a major deal, but I do think there's little things you need to do to adapt. It's very different playing at 12 o'clock to playing a night game on the same day, for instance, and the time you got and to prep and what you eat, what time you eat, how you sleep, all that sort of stuff. So there is a bit of a change, but ultimately once you're there and you're ready, and it's the same preparation and the same build up to the game, and it's almost irrelevant when you're at the stadium what time of the day it is.